This is the ZCAM E2, a second-generation camera from a highly successful company that launched their first cam back in 2015. The camera has some great features already, and arguably by some is competing neck-to-neck with companies such as Panasonic and Blackmagic. Yet this company continues expanding its capabilities, such as now having the ability to record RAW internally and even 160 frames per second at 4K. As their customer base grows, there is more and more content being pumped out through the ether, and there is an ever-increasing demand for more accessories to go along with it, creating a sea of options to navigate. And so, we wanted to have a 3-episode video series to talk about some basics about the camera and to help you sort out some of the current options you have if you're considering it. We will talk about cable options for power, video, and audio, as well as some other peripherals accessories to include some custom options that work pretty well with it. So, if this sounds interesting to you, take a look at what's coming. On this first episode, we will be talking about power options and even show you what hot swap redundancy is and how it works. On episode 2, we mostly will discuss audio and video cable options, and on the last episode, we will go into accessorizing this little beast. So stick around and let's get started. So this is an overview of all the cables that we're going to be showing over the 3 episodes. I'm not going to spend a lot of time showing you guys every single cable in here. It's just mostly for reference. If you are interested in a specific cable, you might just put your eyes on it because I know it's going a little bit fast. But the idea of this area right here is just to show you guys all the different cables that we're going to be talking about and adapters for episode 1, 2, and 3. One of the things that I do want to point out is that a lot of the cables that we are using, we got from a company called Alvin's Cables. And they are great. And the CEO on top of that is willing to even work with consumers to provide them and to create and design cables you can use for your cameras or any other application for that matter. So kudos to Alvin Cables and how great of a company they are. All the information associated to all the cables for all episodes will be provided in the description of this video. This is a 4-pin to N.Dtap connector or cable, and it is by Alvin's Cable of $59.99. It is a pretty neat cable because it allows you to actually just connect the power directly to a N.Dtap source, whether it be from a battery or from a plate. It is a very simple connection. All you have to do is snap it into place, click it in, and the other end of the cable will go to a N.Dtap source, 16 volts power. The camera will actually take anywhere from like 7.4 volts to 16 volts or so. We're going to be using a plate in this time, and we'll be providing the link for this cam bait as well. And the only thing that you have to do after that is connect the cable onto that N.Dtap source. I do want to point out to you guys how much you can actually get this plate or a battery or something super close to the actual back of it. And I have a shot in here to show you just how close you can actually put that plate. And this is a good thing for all of us that like super compact cameras, and one of the things that ZCAM is good for is just to be that, a compact, super functional camera. So this second cable is actually a hack, and it is a custom cable, and the reason is that I actually cut the ZCAM cable provided, and it was a 4-pin to a N.Dtap splitter. The cable, however, was way too long, and then what I did is that I actually cut it and I added this little connector that you see in here with the intention of being able to make the cable as long or as short as I need it. There's not much fanciness to it. Just like the last cable, all you have to do is plug it into place, and then the 2 different N.Dtap connectors will go to 2 different battery sources, or power sources for that matter. This cable allows you to do hot swap redundancy, but it is not the only way. We'll talk about this in a second. But I also wanted to show you and a close-up as to how the cable looks like. This is actually a limo connector as opposed to the last one that we showed. was made by Alvin's Cable, but it is their exclusive design. This next cable is a Dtap to NPF, and it is an 8 volts by Power Rig at $38.99. The good thing about this one again is that it is a flat connector. It shows you the power voltage in there. We'll show you in there again. It is a Dtap to NPF, and this is the 8 volt at $38.99 by Power Rig. And again, you can just provide the Dtap power. In this case, we're going to be using a cam-weight plate, and all you have to do is connect it on that source, and that's it. Now I'm going to show you that this one, like the 90-degree 4-pin to Dtap, allows you to get that plate really close to the back of the camera itself. So all I'm doing in here is that I'm showing you the connection from the Dtap, showing that the voltage is 8.1 volts and the cable is connected. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on the camera just to show you guys that it works just fine. The camera itself, it displays the voltage, whether you have an 8.1 volt battery or all the way up to like 16 volts. The range of the camera allows you to do so. This is an NPF to Dtap 16 volts by Vmount at $39.95, and it is actually 16 volts. And I don't like it as much because it doesn't allow you to get as close to it. This one is an adapter that is also being hacked, and that if you guys are interested, you see that there's DC connectors on both ends, that I actually did that myself. And if somebody's interested, just let me know, and I can actually put some links in the description later on. So it is by FXLION. It allows you to convert the NPF to a V-mount battery. So this is great because then you can bypass any and all other cables, and it makes it super compact. It actually works pretty good. You do have to swap or rather unscrew some of the screws on the plate to allow you to clear the HDMI cable on the top. And if you guys are interested, send me a question on the notes below, on the comments below, and then I can link you guys to the Facebook group that talks about the actual screws that you're gonna have to move. All I'm doing in here is that I'm showing you the FXLION connector with the Dtap battery. The next one is the micro USB to Dtap. And this is something that we're going to be using for the motor of the Nucleus Nano. We'll be showing this one as well in some other video, but right now I wanted to show you some of the possibilities of powers for some of the accessories as well. And so I figure I included on this video. Super straightforward. This is only, again, for the motor and not for the actual focusing wheel, because the focusing wheel only works on 5 volts. This one is showing in there the 16.4 volts. And then the next one is not a fancy one. We've seen it from different manufacturers. It's a Nano splitter. And since I'm using on this case the FXLION, the Nano splitter is a good option. However, I've always struggled as to trying to find out where to stick this thing. A lot of people really do like the Nano splitters, and it allows you to regain some of the power options that you're losing by just having a single Dtap connection on the FXLION in this case. If you notice in here, I'm kind of just showing you guys, like, I don't know what to do with it. Sometimes I feel like I want to put it on the battery itself, sometimes on the side, and sometimes I think I can actually even put it, Velcro it somehow to the battery, but I don't want to do it to each battery. And then I look on the bottom in here, but then I think about how that's going to cover those holes for the rails. And so ultimately, this is not a solution for me. I don't like it, but I thought I showed it to you guys. So what is hot swap redundancy? Hot swap redundancy allows you to keep the camera on, whether you're recording or not, it doesn't matter. So in this case, I'm showing you how I have the 4-pin connected to the Dtap plate, and then I'm also having the NPF connected straight onto the battery. So it is the same power source. You know, the battery itself is providing the power, but what this allows you to do is that if for whatever reason you're running out of power, and if you need to move to another battery because you need to continue to record, all simply you have to do is unplug one of the sources, in this case straight from the battery, connect it to the other battery, and then you notice in here the camera is still on because it's being provided by the Min.Dtap going onto the 4 pin, and then you are able to move that cable, the one that I just unplugged, to another source. The purpose is to allow you to continue to provide power to the camera. I hope you guys found this episode informative, and if you did, join us on episode number 2 when we'll be discussing audio and video options.